Swim Things in Blue Springs, your one-stop shop for all things swim. Pools, spas, patio furniture, swimwear, and accessories. Visit them in Blue Springs or at www.swimthings.com.
Um, but I mean, just in general, that last meet, it was definitely a special thing for this university. Just knowing that we went out with a really good fight, women's team got a really good win, and we're performing really well. We were in peak training and everything, and just the fact that we're doing what we're doing, just with our heads up, is the most important thing, I think.
Hi, everybody. So, on previous episodes of The Journey, we have highlighted the fight to keep collegiate swimming and diving programs alive while the United States and the world deals with the coronavirus pandemic. And we've talked with swimmers and coaches from Boise State and East Carolina University. And though both programs unfortunately could not get their teams reinstated as of February 2021, many college teams have fought hard and won their fight to return to the pool. And we're hoping the University of Iowa is going to be one of them. Our guest today is Ryan Purdy, who is now a sophomore on the Iowa swim team. Welcome today, Ryan. How are you?
Hey, good. How about you?
Doing great, thanks.
So tell us about the day you found out that the Iowa Athletic Department was going to cut the men's and women's diving team after its season.
Yeah. So the day just started out as a normal day. Obviously, it was yeah. And we walked into a meeting, and it was us, gymnastics, and then it kind of just happened. It was obviously a very surreal feeling, just hearing those words come out of the athletic director's mouth. It was disrespectful the way that it was portrayed, and that they went about it. The head athletic director, Gary Barta, just simply spoke for about 2 minutes, then left the room and turned it over to other athletic administrators. And that just simply showed the disrespect that they have for the teams that they cut here. It's just as simple as that. And there's no way to sugarcoat it or go around it. It was just straight up disrespectful, and there was no reason behind it. So,
wow. And now several seniors have sued the university to keep the team running. What has the reaction on campus been like?
Reaction on campus, I'm not really sure, to be honest. I mean, obviously with the code and everything, there's not too much outside interaction with our little community/bubble. But I think within our team is kind of the most important aspect of it, and just how everyone's reacting to it. We know that we're in this lawsuit, and we know that obviously, like the men's team, it's very heavily towards the women's team. But we're staying positive, and we're pretty hopeful, I think. And it's tough at this point with the timeliness of it, but just knowing that there is that chance, it keeps us going somewhat. And it's constantly there in the back of our heads that there is the chance that it could happen. And it's kind of it gives us a little fuel to keep going, to be honest.
Yeah, it's very telling that you use the word disrespect a lot. And I think that's what some of these other teams have been saying when they get their announcement. It's either through a text or through a very quick meeting. It seems very impersonal. And I think a part of it is I believe they just don't want to be there when the emotions start to run high. They kind of, let everybody else deal with it. But on the flip side of that, there has been a lot of support across the country for Iowa swimming and diving. I'm sure you heard that there was a very successful petition to move the NCAA championships away from Iowa in kind of a protest of this decision. What was the reaction among the athletes when this support and outcry started to come in from across the country?
It made me smile, to be honest. It made me happy. Just knowing that we have the support of so many other Olympic sports and all these swim teams across the country. We have, I'm going to give an example. We had a dual meet against Penn State, and their coach came up to us and talked to us about how we've been fighting and how we still have the most energy he's ever seen on deck. And, that's special to us, and that's what really matters. And when we see all these teams coming together and supporting us, and we see NCAA's, get canceled here. And obviously that's a huge profit margin for the university. I think they're scheduled to make around $1 million off of the NCAA's alone. And when you see them, and when you see that meet get moved, they're not going to make that money. And it's nice to see that what goes around comes around in a sense. But obviously the team's still cut for the time being. We have the temporary injunction for next year on the women's side. But it's just nice to see that we have the support of so many people around the country.
Yeah, I thought that when that decision was made to move NCAA's away from Iowa, that the athletic department was like, well, we can't lose this money. We've got to cater to their demands and keep the team. And it was a little bit shocking to me that it didn't happen, because it just seems like they just wanted to stick their feet in even more.
Yeah.
So you talked about meeting against Penn State. You guys just recently had your final home meet at Iowa, very recently. What was it like to be on the deck, swim in that meet? Not just for the seniors where this was really going to be their last home meet, but for you as well as a sophomore.
To be honest, it was very unique, considering we didn't have a team to swim against on the guys' side. It just turned into a dual meet with Nebraska and the women's team, because Wisconsin got trapped in a little COVID situation. But it was fun, to be honest. And it was just, it almost was kind of just like another normal day, but at the same time, it was pretty emotional, not knowing what the future is going to hold for all the kids on the team, from freshmen to seniors. If somebody's going to take another year eligibility, if someone's going to stay here, transfer, just simply be done swimming. And that's kind of in the back of my head with everybody on our whole team. And it's, I always say, oh, well, what is he or she going to do? And where are they going? What are they going to do once this happens? And it's kind of crushing in a sense, knowing some kids are going to be cut short of their swimming career because of this decision. So it might benefit some because they're moving on to a different university, but who knows? But I mean, just in general, that last meet, it was definitely a special thing for this university. Just knowing that we went out with a really good fight, women's team got a really good win, and we're performing really well. We were in peak training and everything. And just the fact that we're doing what we're doing, just with our heads up, is the most important thing, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. You talked about moving on. You and two other swimmers on the team announced that you're going to be transferring, actually down to my neck of the woods down here at Tucson, at the University of Arizona. Why did you make that choice so early, while there was still that outside chance, even though a small one, that the athletic department might change their mind?
I'm going to be honest with you. Originally I was very set on the fact that if this program were to get reinstated, I would most definitely stay. I said that to many people on my team, to myself, to my parents, everybody. And just as it went on, I'm going to go back to this whole disrespect factor. It just made me realize that this university doesn't care about us. It's as simple as that. They've shown nothing, no pride in us. And it's kind of a slap in the face, to be honest. Just knowing that the university I loved and that I came here for a reason was to swim, because I loved it here. I loved everything about it. And to have that not be true is heartbreaking for me. And I think that I needed to find a new place and a new home. I needed that pretty early on, because my future was I was so unsure of what was going to happen. So I needed to find a new home, one that will appreciate me and value me for who I am as a swimmer, and who will value the whole entire team. So that was the biggest part of it.
And what led you to choose Arizona?
The culture of the team. I have a pretty good friend that swims there. He's a senior, Sam Ida. And I swim club with him, and he was always kind of in my ear about it, of how I should go there, train out in the sun and everything. But just the team it's so similar to Iowa in a sense of just it feels like a true family, and all the guys and all the girls are just so super close, and they all live on one street pretty much, and it's what I wanted in a team. And the coaching staff was unbelievable, and they respected my decision and my situation over here at Iowa. And they gave me kind of a free choice of what I wanted to do and the timeliness of everything. And it was just a very welcoming experience, and it was very rewarding to finally have that closure of, I'm going to have somewhere to go. And it's a team that, really took pride in who I am, and a team that takes pride in who they are as well.
Well, and on the very much upside, in addition to swimming out in the sun, you don't have to shovel snow anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, we got about 4 inches of snow the other day, plus about 8 last week. So it's kind of been a pain, and it's a little cold. So
Yeah. Well, we get some cold mornings and nights here, but you'll
yeah,
definitely not have to shovel snow.
I don't
That's
think as bad as like the -6 that it's supposed to be on Saturday. So
definitely not. Definitely
yeah.
not. So I know the pandemic itself has changed the day-to-day lives there at Iowa, but obviously this whole situation with the constant fight to change the minds of the athletic department and reinstate men's swimming and diving and women's swimming and diving. Um, how how is this affecting just that the daily swim practices, that knowing that there is this possibility now with each passing day? I guess the possibility is growing higher and higher, even though this lawsuit is kind of has some legs to it, that the team might not be there. How do you get through these daily swim practices?
Honestly, it's the easiest it's ever been. It might sound like a funny answer, to be honest, but this team is the most energetic, most fun team I've ever been on. Practices are a breeze to go by. Just the constant energy in practice. I think it's we don't have a lot of pressure on us, and we're kind of just letting the situation unfold in the hands of all of our supporters, and the fight for Iowa, all the parents and all the other people that are trying to support us, and we're kind of letting them handle it, and we're taking care of our business in the pool, and we're taking care of it pretty well too. Um, it's a special thing we have going on here. I said this at the meet against Penn State Northwestern. That is a special team, um, and I think we're going to do really special things. And if you were to ever come to see one of our practices or see us in a meet, I think you would see the same thing. We're kind of just a bunch of just a bunch of teenagers really, and some young adults that just like to have fun and swim, and we take care of our business and we have fun doing it. I think that's kind of the most important thing of swimming. It's a pretty mind-numbing sport at times, and when you break that up in practice and just have some fun and start yelling, not at each other, but just yelling really dumb things sometimes, it just makes it fun, makes it a lot more enjoyable. um and I think it's the vibe we have at practice and the energy we bring is unmatched to anything I've ever experienced, and I think it's just continuously growing as this team gets closer and closer with each other too.
So I want to talk about your dad for a minute. He was actually a pretty well-known alum, having
Mhm.
played football. I bet he's probably taking this news probably as tough as you are.
Yeah, he was the first person I called actually the day we got cut, and that was honestly one of the hardest phone calls I've ever had with anybody in my whole life. It probably was the hardest. I couldn't help but cry, and he did the same. Um, and he's taken this kind of just almost as personal as I have, because as I said, well, I went here because I love this university and everything about it and everything encompassed it. And so did he. He chose the university for the same reason. And when you see that disrespect, as I said, it just completely changes your outlook. And he's experiencing the same thing because he sees now all the problems that are going on with this university and this athletic department. And I mean, the list it's never ending, honestly. Um, and he sees that, and he's slowly, and not slowly, but he sees all the constant problems and all the challenges that we're facing now, and he's trying to use those against the university now. And as an alum, that'd be difficult. You took so much pride in this university, and he was a captain, and when you see all that happen, it just completely crushes you inside. And when you have to turn on your own university, you never want to do that. And he's in that situation where he has to, and he's taking it hard, but he's kind of just like me. He's trying to get what he can done and try to save this program. And whether it be this year or next year or 7 years down the road from now, who knows if it goes down with a fight. So it does. And that's kind of all that matters right now for him and the whole Save Iowa sports right now.
Yeah. So I noticed that you're less than a second away from qualifying for Olympic trials and backstroke events. Are you going to be going to any meets anytime soon to try and qualify for trials?
I kind of got to get through the season first. I have some pretty lofty goals for this season with Big Tens and NCAAs, and kind of long courses an afterthought right now. I actually had a conversation with my coach Brian Schrader the other day about it, and all the long course opportunities I can get with meets, I'm going to be in. I swam at what was it, U.S. Open, like around 2 months ago, and I was, I think, 0.2, 0.3 away from my cut. And I just went there for fun, really. So I was just messing around, but that's all right. And so every chance I can get, I'm gonna take, because I got to get it. So
you mentioned Big Ten champs. Is there going to be a Big Ten championship this season?
As of now, it's supposed to be, I believe, the first week in March. I believe it's supposed to be held at Ohio State. But obviously, with the uncertainty of everything nowadays, who knows what's going to happen? I mean, fingers crossed that it does, obviously, because that's a huge meet.
Yeah.
And just, yeah, fingers crossed. So
let's say this meet does happen. This will be your final meet as a Hawkeye. I'm sure that's very sentimental, bittersweet moment for you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm still always going to take pride in wearing a Tiger Hawk on my cap. You know, I mean, I'm wearing it right now. I'm always going to rep it no matter what. No matter the situation that unfolds, it's going to be my first home, my first college experience. I'm going to take that with pride. And, you know, I'm always going to wear it with pride because it's going to show what I went through. It's going to show my story and everything. And it's going to be a bittersweet end, that's for sure. But I mean, we're going to go down with a fight. There's no question about that. So
it's all part of the journey. You'll get through.
Exactly.
When do you move down to Arizona?
It's a great question. I have no clue yet. I think I would ideally want to finish training here this summer, at least through Olympic trials. But I'm not really sure. I think I would want to move down there a little bit before school starts, if not, you know, right after Olympic trials potentially, just to get accustomed to the university and or acclimated to the university and everything, and yeah, to kind of just get the feel for everything. So
yeah, I think it's a good idea, and definitely, I think you should, stay where everything is comfortable, and you don't have to acclimate to a new place, especially as you try to get these cuts for trials. You want to go somewhere new, and everything kind of gets out of whack a little bit. I think it's a good plan. Very good plan. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. As I'm sure you are, Molly and I are very hopeful that we hear some good news about Iowa, whether it's next week, next month, next year, whatever it is. We want to keep all these collegiate swimming and diving programs around, and with a pool like you guys have at Iowa, I think it's very sad to know that pool is not going to be used to bring up the next generation of collegiate swimmers. But we're very hopeful that it does, and very best of luck to you at the rest of your season and getting qualified for Olympic trials.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
All right. So thank you everybody else for joining us today. And as we always say, it's not just about the destination, it's about the journey.